Greetings and blessings, and welcome again to the hotspot. My name is Webb. Welcome to another match day. It is an exciting day. If you're a Manchester United supporter, how has been your day? This week has been fast, so fast, hasn't it? But we are on top of it. Man United returning in action after that weekend that saw us beat Fulham by a goal to nil to get back some bit of hope in our whole project. Well, we bounce back now on the continent. It is the UEFA Champions League. It is match night. Where are you watching this one from? Let me know what you think. Which country are you tuned into the hotspot? Where are you going to be catching this action from? How do you feel? Are you under pressure? I'm building up to this one, but trust you me, I feel the jitters. I'm here feeling the jitters with you, but trust you me, I think this is a game we can ably win. Welcome aboard. My name is Webb. It's been a long time coming. Well, this one is an important one because Manchester United is built for games like this. We have been struggling in the Champions League. We've only got 3 points so far. We got them off the same team we are facing at Old Trafford. It was a scrapped victory. We had to be saved by Andre Onana, who denied FC Copenhagen a penalty, but trust me, we are going to deal with them this time around. But what exactly is supposed to be done? We'll talk about that. The team news, what exactly is going on? We know that Marcus Rashford is back in the squad. Will he be starting, or should Erik ten Hag give the young Alejandro Garnacho the chance to go on and shine? Well, that's the debate we are seeing. But also Facundo Pellistri, when does he get his chance? Anthony Dos Santos has been the man preferred by Erik ten Hag. Has he proven? Is he good enough? But also Rasmus Højlund hasn't scored a single goal in the English Premier League, but he has got important 3 goals for Man United in the UEFA Champions League. So what will be the expectation from these players? The fans were holding up banners asking players to play like they mean it. We do hope they do show us that they mean it. But that's how the group is. Man United, of course, is languishing in 3rd position on the pile with only 3 points after that 1-0 victory, thanks to that goal in the reverse fixture by Harry Maguire. So that's the only 3 points we've got so far in the UEFA Champions League. Bayern are topping with a near perfect record. Of course, they have conceded a few games, but they have won each and every one of their 3 games. So they have got 9 points on the top. For them, it feels like they are assured of making it out of the group. Galatasaray are second with 4 points, not so far away from us, whereas our opponents, Copenhagen, in their own Parkman, will be hoping to get their first victory in the Champions League this season. Now, this is an interesting game, guys, because the gods of football, like they did do it for us back then in August when the transfer window was going on, when we were able to come in and sign this boy from Copenhagen, from Denmark, Rasmus Højlund. The gods of football later on managed to do it for us to ensure that, again, we have a story to tell in the Champions League. Our boy facing his former team, his boyhood team, where even his young brother plays. It's an interesting story of the beautiful game, and what an atmosphere it is expected to be in the Parkman Arena. It's going to be the Parkman Stadium, rather. It's going to be an interesting one to see how that goes. But let me know, what do you think? What do you expect of this game? Now, the story of the Premier League, to be honest, to be fair to these boys, the story of the Premier League has been bad, has been terrible for us. But in the Champions League, trust me, we have not been as bad, really. We have not been as bad because we've got 2 assists from Marcus Rashford, both of them to Rasmus Højlund, meaning the Marcus Rashford of the Champions League is partly different from the one we know in the English Premier League, who is the version we see more often, because week in and week out there is Premier League action, unlike the Champions League that takes a few weeks off. But anyhow, so Rashford is back. It was confirmed by Erik ten Hag in the press conference earlier on today. By the way, I do remind you guys to do subscribe if you haven't. Guys, keep subscribing as we do keep growing this community of Man United supporters. But proper talking the game, of course, Marcus Rashford back in the squad after traveling with the squad in the last game against Fulham, but was not in action for that one because of what was said was a knock on his leg. But the talk of Rashford for me has not really been about the football. It's him reacting to social media attacks on him, reacting and going on Twitter, yet people are expecting him to be concentrating on his football and performing for United. I mean, he's the topmost earner at the club, but he's on Twitter responding to talks and rumors and people provoking him. It didn't augur people the right way, but perhaps that is what got him hungry. Remember, he has been through some of, a series of events really recently, from his birthday celebrations that did not augur well with the manager, to that tweet trying to respond on speculation that he could be sold. But by the way, for me, and maybe in the future we'll talk about this. And I'm thinking, I was having a conversation with a colleague of mine about Marcus Rashford, and we are saying, if Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge of Manchester United, wouldn't he be considering selling Rashford right now? Because right now, if we sold Rashford to PSG, we could make some good money out of him, over 100 million quid. Do I think Rashford is going to give us any better than what he did last season ever at Man United again when Rasmus Højlund is there? I don't think so. For me, for United, I feel like Rashford's best is behind him, and the best thing is for us to sell him now when he can attract a reasonable fee. He can go and excel better somewhere else. I don't see Rashford excelling from what he's doing. So, but that's not the conversation for today. We are building up to a match where he is and where he's expected to be an important player. But I think we'll get into that conversation maybe in the future. But for me, it's clear. Manchester United has got to step up their game. Of course, our players have got to play like they mean it, like the fans have been demanding. Forget about what has been going on with the club. Right now, it's, I think, survival. You're playing for dear life. You're playing for dear life. Each game for a United player is supposed to feel like the last one, because, guys, we cannot afford to be scraping victories. We cannot afford to be struggling against teams we've got every right to be obliterating. So, for me, I will listen to anyone who is demanding more from this club, from the players, and I love the fact that even the boss, Erik ten Hag, knows it, and he has been saying this clearly in his press conferences consistently, that the standards of Man United are high. The expectations from the supporters, from the players themselves, from the managers, everything about Manchester United calls for high standards. The only non-high standards there perhaps are the facilities, which we want to believe that the new incoming Sir Jim Ratcliffe should be able to solve, at least if what we're seeing is anything to go by. There's, of course, some stories emerging saying that the deal might be again dragged again because of a few things that are changing, and how Sheikh Jassim is not entirely out of the race. But not again the day to go in to take over talk. Hotspot, subscribe, fam. Let me know where are you catching us from. I see you all who have, of course, come through. That's the table and how it is happening. But yeah, it's interesting. I see Kenny Katuramu is there. Well, Kenny, I see you, my brother. How is it? How are you expecting this squad to stand? Remember, we've got some injury concerns. There is no Casemiro. Casemiro, according to Ten Hag, is going to be out for a couple of weeks. He's not going to be playing. So he's not going to be playing for a couple of weeks. And that's quite, not good for Manchester United, to be honest. It's quite not good for Manchester United, considering that, for me, I feel his position is the biggest problem we've got. That's the reason why we're struggling in games, because we don't have Casemiro playing at a quarter of the levels he gave us last season. So if he's not there, the last game we played Copenhagen and we beat them by a goal to nil, we played without Casemiro in that game. It was Amrabat who was in that one. We had Amrabat there. We had Scott McTominay, I think, playing with Bruno. So it was different. It was different. Of course, Ken Katram is saying Casemiro is resting for his Saudi medical. Well, Kenny is one of those who believe that Casemiro will be leaving in January. And guys, we need to be realistic now and start talking confidently about some of the players we think we should be releasing as early as January at the first available opportunity. Players like Rafael Varane, players like Casemiro. The reality is we love Casemiro, but he's never going to come back to the levels he was at last season. And when these injuries start, they never stop. So for me, it is safer for us to sell a semi-injured Casemiro in January for something we can get about. We bought him at about 70 million quid. We can get a cool 40 million from Saudi for Casemiro. Get the same amount, 40 or 50, for Varane. And trust me, that's good money. Add on 120 million quid from PSG for, of course, Rashford can't be sold in January, probably. We'll have to wait until the summer if that is ever going to happen. But for Casemiro and Varane, we need to cash them out, because we could get about 100 million from the two, which would be good money, considering, we've been struggling, wasting a lot of money, and also struggling to get money to spend because of the financial fair play and the lack of players to sell. So for me, I think the timing of our sales is also important, and we need to try to sell these players, in the nearest opportunity, so that we don't end up stuck with old injured players earning a lot of wages. So for me, that's a problem, and those are the changes I expect Sir Jim Ratcliffe, together with his team, Jean-Claude Blanc, or whoever he brings in, or Paul Mitchell, whoever comes in at the helm of the club, the people who are going to be working with Ten Hag should be able to sort certain things like that, make the key radical decisions so that we transform this club instantly. Hotspot, subscribe. I do remind you guys, it's ours to kick off of that one. FC Copenhagen against Manchester United. That's the table. That's how it is. So we beat them before. Anyhow, we've beaten them by a goal to nil. It wasn't convincing. Andre Onana making his best save, probably the best penalty save he will ever make in his career, because it was in the 7th minute of added time that he did stop a penalty from Copenhagen that could have ended the party for us. So guys, they were toe-to-toe with us. It was a 50-50 game. It was an end-to-end affair. They matched us for everything, almost in possession. We had about, I think, 51. They had 59% in the first leg in the reverse fixture. When it came to goal attempts, I think we had 15. They had 14. I mean, we were toe-to-toe. It was an end-to-end encounter. An end-to-end encounter. So we can't expect it to be an easy game, and not for United. But we are still at the level, I feel, where as Man United, we are expecting to be winning regardless the performance. Yet, for me, it's a bad thing, because if we are desperate to win, just desperate to win, regardless how we win, if we win like we won in the reverse fixture, I feel like that wouldn't be progress for United. I think it would be, it would be not sustainable. I think right now what's most important for Man United is improvement in how we perform, in how we play. That will eventually result into victories. But if we fumble into victories like we've done against teams like Brentford, against teams like Nottingham Forest, against teams like Sheffield, against teams like Copenhagen itself, I feel we won't go so far. So my feeling for me is, yes, whereas we the fans are desperate for a win because we don't want to stay in the group stages, I think it is also important for us to see a certain, slight level of improvement in how we play, in our performances, in how we pass the ball, in how we build our patterns, in our possession, in our transitions. We need to see improvement. We need to see improvement for us to feel comfortable in what we are supporting. But for me, my disquiet is us winning. People are happy United has won, but there was nothing exciting about the manner in which we won. United is supposed to win games with control, with application, with swagger, with character. That's how we win as Man United. We don't just fumble into victory. So for me, I think it's going to be important. But of course, Rasmus Højlund, according to Erik ten Hag, is eager to learn and improve. And that's the attitude, of course, of a top striker. But I'm not sure he will improve so fast with the people around him, and that's why we need to make key drastic decisions in January. If there are any opportunities for us, we should be making them so that we are able to get the best out of Rasmus Højlund in the future. But let's stick to this game. So FC Copenhagen, and of course they are Pacman. An interesting atmosphere you expect it to be. Of course, we've got two Danish players in Christian Eriksen and Højlund in our team. For them, it will be probably a bit nostalgic going there, and of course playing for Højlund. This is his boyhood club. Just a few years ago, he perhaps could never have dreamt he was going to be a Manchester United player and leading Man United from the top of the line against them in just a space of a few years. Imagine how hard work can pay. But that's the story we're about to see. It is an interesting one, and of course I will be getting for you. I do hope the lineups come out early. I will be getting them for you to see. But as it is, well, this Copenhagen side, coached by Nistrup, is also not, a walk in the park. Really, it's not a walk in the park. They have had a decent run, drawn one and lost two games, quite, like I said, decent in this group, because even that draw and of course the loss against United especially was not that bad on them. It wasn't a beating and a battering like we would have wished it to be. So they have tried, they have had put on decent performances, but the thing about them is the atmosphere. And I think in the Champions League, one of the things, and all managers who have been there have said it before, the reason why the Champions League is so difficult is because when you travel to a different country, when you're playing away, the atmosphere is always going to be so torrid. It's going to be insane that your players have got to have their concentration so high if they are going to be able to grind a result away. So it's certainly going to be a difficult game for that. But also for the fact that Manchester United is obviously, we all see clearly, not so far ahead of Copenhagen, really. So they can match us, and they'll have the confidence, being now that they have their own fans at home. They'll have the confidence to take us on and, of course, hope to grind a result. So it's going to be an important game. But for me, my probable lineup, of course, of Harry Maguire should be starting. That, of course, Andre Onana in between the sticks. I mean, he was the hero in the last one. You don't expect Erik ten Hag to be trying out Alte Baindil now, unless Onana got a late injury or something, but I don't think so. So Onana will be starting, obviously, in between the sticks. On the right, Wan Bissaka, obviously, is there. This is Bissaka level. I want to see Sergio Reguilon. He's not so exciting. He's not the greatest, but I still want to see him play on the left more. More so if Rashford is there and now he's back. I'm sure for a fact Rashford will be starting. Then backline, I would expect Harry Maguire and Rafael Varane. We do need Rafael Varane. I don't want to understand the tactics for Erik ten Hag. If Varane is fit for now, when he's there, he has got to be playing. He's got to be on the pitch for as long as he's fit. Anyway, he's not fit for so long anyway. So I think the few times we have him fully fit, he should be playing. So for me, yes, Lindelof is back, and but I think Maguire and Varane should be the partnership in defense. Of course, Sofian Amrabat will be shielding. I hope Kobe Mainoo is given a chance. I hope Kobe Mainoo is given some minutes in this game. I would have wished him to start. Erik ten Hag seems to be so careful. So careful. At times you've got to take risks if to be drastic if you're going to get things to change. But Ten Hag wants to be so careful, like he has all the time in the world. That's an annoying thing about him. But anyhow, if he doesn't want to start Kobe Mainoo, certainly Amrabat will start. I think we need to be more solid. I feel like we need to start playing with two holding midfielders. Amrabat plays alongside Scott McTominay. If more so if there's no Kobe Mainoo, there's no Casemiro, we need to be. Amrabat cannot play that role alone yet. He's not there yet. I think it's a little too heavy for him. So I'm feeling he needs to be partnered with someone, most likely Scott McTominay. Then play Bruno as your number 10 on top. Rasmus Højlund. Of course, Marcus Rashford will start, and he has been performing in the Champions League, so I wouldn't mind him for starting in the Champions League. And on the right, I don't want to see Anthony, to be honest. Put the young kid Pelistri if you have to. But Kenneth Catram says Hannibal would be perfect to match the home team's energy. Yes, that's an interesting one. But the debate, though, would be, should Hannibal be starting? Unless if our game plan is to kill off the game early, then you want him to come up there and press them from up. From the start, from the onset, he's there pressing, and we try to go for early goals. If that's the game plan, then I think Hannibal starting would make a lot of sense. If not, I would still want to see him come off the bench and see him try to impact and change the game off the bench, ideally, than him starting and running. Because anyway, the game plan of us starting off the blocks early has never worked for us. We've been struggling. In all our games we are starting, we run our lungs out in the first 30 minutes of the game. After the 40th minute, our players can't do anything. We are clueless, we lose it, and other teams keep coming into the game. So for me, the approach of starting off the blocks would not be the perfect approach for us. But anyhow, give me your opinion about the game plan that Erik ten Hag should bring if Manchester United is going to beat FC Copenhagen. It's going to be a crucial one. It's going to be an important game, because if we win it, we've got a chance to climb to second position, as you see there in that table. And guys, I wonder, and I want to ask this, what should be our target as Man United in this Champions League? Are we targeting it, winning the title, reaching the final? What will success look like for Manchester United in the Champions League? What, in your view, will success look like for Manchester United in the UEFA Champions League? I want to pick your mind on that, because we need to be clear on the expectations we have of our team and of the players we have in the team. I think we need to be clear of our expectations so that we know how to judge them. Because if we are beaten by Copenhagen today, God forbid, chances are we won't make it out of the group. So would that then be failure? Would we then be calling for the head of Erik ten Hag? Would we then be calling for the head of Erik ten Hag? What will success be like for us in the Champions League, but also the Premier League? Because at the start of the season, when we had just made all these new signings, we were talking a lot about our expectations, and there were people who felt like the fact that we finished third last season because of the so many signings we made that looked like they were supposed to improve the squad. Unfortunately, they didn't, clearly. But people were expecting then United to be competing for the Champions League title and the Premier League probably. But realistically now, 10 games into the season or 11 games into the season, we are able to weigh and see realistically where we think we should be able to fall and say this has been a decent season for us. You can give me your take on that. What do you think success will look like for Man United in the Champions League, but also in the Premier League? If you say United in the Premier League finishing among the top 10 would be success considering how bad we look, and in the Champions League just making it out of the group, we should be celebrating. Give me your opinion, because we need to set our ambitions clear and right from the onset. But we have an opportunity. For me, I feel like the victory against Fulham should be the turning point we needed for things to change. I feel like it has brought the team together a little more, the fans as well. So for me, that's why I'm eager to see the reaction of these players when this game kicks off. What will the reaction be? What will the players look like? Because clearly Højlund, like the manager is saying, he's hungry, but how hungry are his teammates? Because it's not just about him, but also the entire squad, team. So it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game, good pressure for us. But Erik ten Hag and how he selects the team will be so important. Also, his game plan. Is Copenhagen a team you just want to go and kill off in there then? Do you want your players to grow into the game? For me, that should be the game plan for us now, because we are not good enough to kill off the game early. We are not confident enough. The game plan should be start slow, pass the ball, pick your confidence and patterns, then start building. Then start building the pace, start building, grow into the game. I still insist that is the game plan Erik ten Hag should be coming with in most of our games, considering that we are lacking in confidence. Kenny Katuran is saying we need an early goal and play as proper away and play as a proper away team. The longer Copenhagen keep it close, we are in problems. They got stronger and stronger in the last game, and that's how they even got a penalty. That is true, but for me, this is why I have disquiets about United going off the blocks early. And an early goal is good because it will give us confidence, but because of our ineffectiveness, we've tried in every game we've played, Kenneth, this season, Kenny, KK. In every game we've played this season, Man United has been getting off the blocks early. But inside 30 minutes, we are done. First 30 minutes, Ten Hag will come and say we played well the first half. At times, a few games has been throughout the first half in a few games. But if you look at critically at all games United has played this season, you clearly see that the first 20 minutes are something of, something unseen. You saw even against Man City, we were almost scoring inside 10 minutes. Scott McTominay. Not even 10, 5 minutes, but it doesn't work. After 10 minutes, you don't know what happens. We stop knowing what we look clueless. We look clueless. So if it's not working, I feel we've got to adjust it. We've got to change it. And that's why I think, but also our players do not have the confidence to go early into the game. I think at kickoff, these players are playing in their heads. They are playing in their heads. They are thinking about the fans, listening to what the fans are chanting, thinking about, what people are thinking, all eyes on them. I feel like there is a big psychological war in the heads of all Man United players. And that's why when a game is starting, they need to be calm and not think about getting a goal, but rather pass, and reflect on the training, the preparation they had. Marcel Sabitzer revealed something interesting, that Erik ten Hag has very good game plans. Always has very good, clear game plans, but they are lost in execution. The reason why last season they were competing, and that's why Sabitzer was saying he was sad about United not having Casemiro, Luke Shaw, and Lisandro Martinez. These are important players, leaders in this team, who organize the team to execute the game plan of the manager. But when they are not there, we struggle. So it's painful to see that people, and that's the nature of football, that people will call for the head of the manager when things are not working, even when players fail to do their part of executing the game plan. So a manager can have a good game plan, but the players fail to execute it. Now, you wonder whether that will still be a problem with the manager, because one would say it is the job of the manager to make the players execute the game plan. But to what extent are the players also going to take responsibility? Because these are professional players. You've got to be able to understand, unless you say Erik ten Hag's game plan is not clear, there is no clarity in it. But Sabitzer told us this guy has clear game plans for each game. So Kenny Katuramu says success for us is to start playing better. Get up, yeah. Now I like how you've started it. Start playing better, not just fidget and fall into victories. Start playing better, yes. Get a proper style of ball, and Hoyland coming to life. True. Probably finish 4th and make at least the FA Cup final. Brilliant. This is clear. For me, these feel like realistic targets. I'm not sure about the FA Cup final, to be honest, but for me, this feels like, realistic targets for Manchester United. Not, far-fetched. Kaluya Paul says the football of today of our players must put on high speed. You know those days, they were very slow. Okay, I don't get it properly, but yeah, I think he's saying the football of today, our players, most of our players put on a high speed, but those days it was a bit slow. Okay, interesting. Actually, I think football was a little faster back then. I don't know. I feel like football was a little faster, more direct. I think the word should be more direct. I feel like the game, especially the Premier League, was more direct back then than it is today. That's what I feel. And more intense, more physical. That's what I think. It's becoming increasingly technical now. Yes, the physique will always be there and a bit of pace and directness, but it's becoming more technical lately. That's my honest opinion. But yeah, anyhow, so for me, I like what Keke said here, that success for us is to start playing better. For me, that's where we need to start. Before we think about beating Copenhagen, I first want us to see us working well on our patterns, playing better, looking like Manchester United, looking like we have a clue of what we are doing. Not, jumbled up goals, goals from nowhere, weird goals that you can't account for, goals that you cannot, get you building up to them, goals that come from nowhere. I don't think that's what we as Manchester United should be celebrating. I think we are good enough, and more so the fact that we saw how good we can be last season. We demand something, at the very least these players can give us is performances close to what we saw last season. At least. So for me, yes, I agree. Then get a proper style of play. What play are we playing? Erik ten Hag is lately lost in interviews trying to explain the style of play and his philosophy, and playing and building from the back and pressing, and he's speaking a lot, throwing around a lot of technical jargons like we are all football coaches. I mean, if it's there, we will see it, and we may not even have the right technical words to call his style of play, but we will define it. But as fans, if there is a style of play, you will see it. It will be clear. You cannot just go and explain it with a lot of technical language and all. And for me, that's where I sort of fault Erik ten Hag and his lack of emotional intelligence, for lack of a better word. The way he's all over panicking and answering certain questions in the media lately, I feel like he has failed to deal with it, and that's why Sir Jim Ratcliffe better come in as early as yesterday and change things around so that the load on the manager reduces and he concentrates more on the football. But for now, he's also now becoming like the spokesperson. I think as a manager of a club in the Premier League, you're the first spokesperson of the club. I think that's the nature of the job. You are the undesignated or unofficial spokesperson rather. But anyhow, the game is how long? A couple of just over an hour away, just over 1 hour away, and of course we should be hoping for the lineup soon. I do hope they come when I'm still live, but I do need you to let me know where you will be catching this one from. Where will you be playing this one from? By the way, yes, I've just got an update here that Kobe Maino will actually not be playing because he did play with the under-19s today against Copenhagen. It was a 2-2 draw, and Kobe Maino was still in that game. He did play in that game. So it's sad. Hoyland's brother did score for Copenhagen. They're under-19. So it's interesting. Connor Crowley saying, I'm from Ireland. Yes, Connor Crowley, good to see you. Interesting. How is it there? What's the weather? What time will kickoff be there in Ireland? But in Ireland, what's the general take on the status of Manchester United? In your view, Connor Crowley, I hope I pronounced that right. In your view, what should success for Manchester United look like in the Champions League first, but also all throughout the season. What will success for us look like? Will it be us finishing second because last time we were third in the Premier League? In the Champions League, will it be us reaching the final or lifting the title? What, in your view, will success this season for Manchester United look like? Kaluya Paul saying, big up my brother, I'm live from Uganda, Kampala. Today's football, we need a win. Our brothers, thanks. Yes, a must win. If we win, we do climb to second position on the pile. That will be important. It will re-energize us a bit. But I have not so much, I don't have a lot of pressure because I feel like we've clearly been playing better in the Champions League. Even the games we've lost against Bayern, against Galatasaray, were so bad, but we try to fight and put on some decent shows. So for me, I think we should be able to deal with Copenhagen. I'm not under pressure. I feel like we got the turning point. The only issue is, for me, we could win because we seem to have built the character to win now somehow. But for me, my judgment of our team will not be on us winning or not. It will be on the performance we put on, the manner in which we apply ourselves, the nature of win, the nature of victory for Manchester United. But we also need to see hungrier players. We need to see players who play like they mean it, like the people are posting posters in the last game against Fulham. We need to play like we mean it. Yes, the pressure will go on the manager always, because when results are not coming, it's the manager to account. But the players have got to take responsibility for some certain wrong decisions, for lack of responsibility, for being careless. You're playing for Manchester United. The manager can only give you the opportunity to be on the pitch and give you the structure to play in. But I feel like 99% of the work has got to be yours as a player. You've got to be responsible, you've got to have the hunger, which has been lacking in our players, except Rasmus Højlund. So for me, I want to see that. It's sad that some of our formerly worst players are improving and are becoming better, but our would-be best players are either stunted or they're actually becoming worse. So it's sad. Then it disorganizes the whole unit. So it's one step forward and 4 steps back. So we want to get off that that state. And for me, I still think it's a mental thing. The struggles we have are more mental on our players than physical, because you see wrong decisions being made by a player like Marcus Rashford. Wrong runs. Lack of concentration. They pass a ball to someone who is is not concentrating on the pitch. Stuff like that. So for me, I think the problems United has are mental. They are mental problems, and players have got now to take control of their mind. I'm not sure about Man United and whether we have a. I think we do, but of course you wouldn't be shocked by anything, at Manchester United, and don't laugh, but it is possible that we don't even have a psychologist. I remember Liverpool had an important player when they were winning their first Premier League title that season. They had a psychologist who was talking to these players and handling them. I feel like all Manchester United players have needed serious counseling and psychologists for the longest time. From the times of the transfers, from the takeover, the times they talk about the takeover, all the things. I feel like they have all built up to one thing, that Manchester United obviously does need a counselor or someone to come and talk to these players, because it's obvious that with what's going on around the club, they cannot be okay. They just cannot be okay. Their mental space cannot be good. So for me, I think Manchester United has got to work on this. For me, the problems, the failure, these players are not as bad as the performances we see. I think these players are made bad because of the psychology around the club. And I feel like that is what we need to be managing first. But unfortunately, I don't think the focus is there a bit. So those are some of the things I think we need to change. But again, we go back to the game tonight, of course. In a few, Man United visiting FC Copenhagen. Again, I want to get your prediction, but also where you are watching the game from. What do you think? Who do you expect to start? Should Marcus Rashford, the birthday boy, be sliding back into the team? Has he been scratched a bit now to come and respond and react and turn things around? I think Rashford is one of the players we should be relying on, but he seems not to be there now. I think he seems not to be there now. Do we lose hope in him? According to the manager, the strategy is to keep putting him there until he gets his confidence back. Does it work? Does it make sense? Is it working for you? What do you think? Give me your opinion here on the hotspot as we do build up to FC Copenhagen versus Manchester United. It's an interesting game, and it is one important game that could change a whole lot for Manchester United going forward. The injuries are not for us to talk about now. Let's just focus on the good news coming through. And yeah, so United is coming on in a few. There are some predictions that I've seen, and I want to just sample some of them, just a few of people's predictions. People do not seem to have any faith in this Manchester United of ours. People seem not to have faith. And of course, the starting 11 is out for Manchester United. Here we go, guys. Just big breaking news coming through now. The confirmed 11 is here for you. It is again, an interesting one. So here we go. Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho are both starting. When did you last see that? I don't remember when. It is a rare thing to see. Rashford this time starting on the right in place of Anthony Dos Santos. Garnacho is starting on the left. Rasmus Højlund is leading the line. Behind him is Christian Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes, whereas Scott McTominay is sitting. He's starting ahead of Sofian Amrabat as the number 6. Amrabat has again, for a second consecutive time, failed to command a start in Manchester United. Is it bad? Now, in the defense, Rafael Varane again is not good enough for a start. Evans is rather picked ahead of him, together with Harry Maguire. Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the right. There is no space for Sergio Reguilon in the starting team. It is Diogo Dalot again who will start on the left, whereas Andre Onana will keep his place in between the sticks. It's a 4-3-3 formation, or you can want to call it a 4-1-2-3 formation if you want. That is how United has lined up. Let me know what you think about this starting 11 for Manchester United up against FC Copenhagen. I'll read it for you again. In between the sticks, it's Andre Onana starting. In the central defense, Johnny Evans together with Harry Maguire. And on the right, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who recently returned from injury, it will be starting, whereas his deputy in the right back will be starting on the left. That's Diogo Dalot starting ahead of Sergio Reguilon as the number 3. Scott McTominay is sitting just ahead of the back line, whereas Bruno Fernandes and Christian Eriksen are just ahead of Scott McTominay. Of course, playing in that hole. Then leading the line is Rasmus Højlund, and he is being sandwiched by Marcus Rashford, who this time will not be starting on the left, but he will be starting on the right. Now, this is why I love this. This is why now, and I think now Erik ten Hag is beginning to react, and he's beginning to create. And for me, I want to see it. I love to see it. That Garnacho and Rashford, I don't remember, and you can remind me if I've forgotten, please. I don't remember a time when I saw Garnacho and Marcus Rashford both start. I don't remember them both start a game. And for me, I think it is a good first change. Kaluya Paul is saying to me, 2-1, that's his prediction. You can give me yours as well. 2-1 is also the number of people watching live. But anyway, so for me, I love the fact that Erik ten Hag is beginning to change things around, to try out new things at least. That look to be progressive. Anthony is not there. So Marcus Rashford is pushed to the right, and we've been calling for this. I think even in the game against Man City, people were saying, let him come on the right, bring on Garnacho. Let him come on the right, Anthony off, bring on Garnacho. So I love the fact that he's beginning to think around, and I think for a good reason. Even if it doesn't work, we are seeing there is some bit of effort to try and change things around, because why stick to the same thing if it is not working? But what I love about Højlund, Garnacho and Marcus Rashford is it gives us a chance to see these players interchanging among themselves. I think I loved the way Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane and Roberto Firmino used to play. The three of them used to play together at Liverpool. They would keep moving and switching positions among the three of them, and they were difficult to tame. I feel like Garnacho and Marcus Rashford and Rasmus Højlund can keep doing the same, because even Højlund, the beauty with Højlund is that he can also come in and be involved in that, because he's not the selfish kind of striker who just wants to sit there and wait for the ball to come to him. He can try and move and create spaces for others to score. And in Garnacho and Marcus Rashford, we have two other players capable of scoring goals. So for me, because we know for a fact that Copenhagen are going to be focused on Rasmus Højlund, it's a good thing what Erik ten Hag has done. I just hope he gives these players the freedom and liberty to keep, switching, playing a puzzle, the three of them. One time Rashford is on the left, then before you know it, he's switching, going to the right, and then Rasmus Højlund is dashing in on the right, then Marcus Rashford then becomes a false nine. So they should keep moving around like that, but with the ball, because Rasmus Højlund is good at that. He's good with that movement off the ball, but also he's moving. He's good with these movements that create space for others. So I feel like it's a good thing. I'm excited to see it. The only problem is how then does Bruno Fernandes play into that? Because at times Bruno Fernandes wants to play more of a free role, and then he can then cause a confusion for everyone else. So if there can be a little bit of order, and Bruno is tempted to play, yes, closer to Højlund in the hole, closer to the number 10, but not so much going all over to get into the spaces for Højlund, for Rashford and Garnacho. I feel like that's the only disquiet, because when Bruno is there, you expect him to cover more of certain yards. So, but that's also a disorganization in itself. So that's a bit of the disorganization we see when United is playing. But my brother, is it true that Mr. Anthony wants to leave our team? That's the question. Well, we will debate about Anthony. I'm not sure I would be so sad, but according to what we saw, the reports are not true that he wants to go to Flamengo here and what have you. But I wouldn't be so sad if I heard that Manchester United is going to cash in on Anthony. Guys, I think one of the reasons why Sir Alex Ferguson succeeded so much as Man United manager, I think it was because of the timing of his decisions. You remember in 2009 when he chose to let go of Cristiano Ronaldo for the amount of money he did, I think 80 million. People were thinking, but how does he do that? The problem that I've seen with United, and I think it comes from we the fans, we want to stick to players so much that we stay with garbage, rotten potatoes, and earning big money, and we have nothing to do with them. So meaning the next manager who comes in will have to overhaul, literally. So my thinking is we need to learn. I think we need to know when to let go of players. I think this is the time to let go of Anthony, because we can get some money for him. There is no, you don't have 1.5 seasons, let me call it. And with the way what's going on with Anthony, the charges with the girlfriend, everything going on around him, clearly he won't change and all of a sudden become a magical player for United. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he will ever justify the 85 or 86 million quid we bought him. I think we should agree and say if we get someone selling, he's available for sale. If we get someone buying, we sell Anthony and make some money. Otherwise, we are going to end up not getting a nickel for him, because we want to stick with him so long, and we've got so many rotten potatoes that we need to let go of. So for me, the biggest problem with United is failing to decide and knowing when to let go of players. So Kaluya Paul, whereas there are still rumors about Anthony leaving, but rumors can turn out to be true. For me, honestly, the truth is I actually think it will be good for his career. He's only 23. I think it will be good for him. Okay, at the very least, let's loan him out. Yes, let's loan him out if we don't want to sell him, because he's still young. That's the reality. And you don't roll out, under right of a young player. But the reality is he's better not at United now than being there. For me, that's what I think. Kaluya Paul. But yeah, going back to this game, he won't be starting this one. I was there trying to think about, and I was having this conversation with my friend KK, and we were trying to understand what Manchester United would look like if Jadon Sancho was playing with Rasmus Højlund. I actually feel like if Sancho had not been banished from the team, I even saw a story recently, I don't know that it was true, that even on the WhatsApp group of Manchester United, he was removed. He was removed from the WhatsApp group. I mean, certain things start like this concerning United, but they turn out to be true, which is funny. But I think Garnacho and Jadon Sancho would actually make Rasmus Højlund look better. I feel like they would be better wingers to play to sandwich Rasmus Højlund than Marcus Rashford and Antony. That's my honest opinion. What do you think? I think Garnacho and Jadon Sancho would create more chances, a lot more chances for Rasmus Højlund than Marcus Rashford and Anthony Dos Santos, or Marcus Rashford and Facundo Pellistri. I think Jadon Sancho would create more chances, and get me right, I'm just trying to say, Jadon Sancho, the fact that we've got Rasmus Højlund, who should be the focus player, I think Jadon Sancho needs a chance, because I actually think he can play well with him. That's what I think. We are still struggling, because we have failed, our wingers have failed to pick up Rasmus Højlund, but I think Jadon Sancho, who was banished from the team, can actually get us goals from Højlund. But you can let me know what you think in your view. Of course, I want to give you some bit of time for you to go and prepare, of course, to catch the game. Myself to rest a bit as I do prepare to come back and catch the action. But it's an interesting one. The build-up is on. Manchester United, I've told you the squad is out. The starting 11 is out for Manchester United, and I am going to be, of course, taking you through it again. We do have Andre Onana starting in goal. We do have Tony Evans and Harry Maguire starting as the central defenders. On the right, it is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We do have Diogo Dalot on the left. Then Scott McTominay is shielding the back line, whereas ahead of him is Bruno Fernandes and Christian Eriksen. No space for Mason Mount again. On the top is Rasmus Højlund, sandwiched by Marcus Rashford. On the right, where usually we have Anthony Dos Santos and Alejandro Garnacho. Many have said Garnacho is not good as a starter, but let's have a chance to see him playing together with Marcus Rashford and see how it works. I actually think it might be exciting to watch. It might be. These two flanks of ours should be exciting, because we are always used to the pace coming through from the left, where Marcus Rashford usually plays. This time around, you've got pace and a different type of pace. For Rashford, it's more of, it's more of direct running and at times looking aimless. Garnacho tries to do things with the ball cutting and, step overs and run. Is a bit different. So I think both wings are going to be exciting, and you want to see it. Let's see if it will turn into assets for Rasmus Højlund, because that's the most important thing for us now. It's Højlund to be scoring goals. We can't have a 72 million high potential striker like Højlund struggling to score because no one is feeding him, yet he's making all the right moves. We cannot afford to do that. But yeah, that's how we are. Are you impressed by the squad? Is it scary? Are you worried? Do you feel confident in our starting team, our squad? Let me know what you think. And as we do get into this game, so my prediction of the game, I think United is going to win it by a bigger margin, not by a goal from Harry Maguire, but we will win it. Højlund will score. I think Christian Eriksen will have a good game. I feel like it's going to be a comfortable performance from us. I feel like the Fulham victory was a turnaround for us. And of course, I'm seeing footage of our players arriving. Harry Maguire, Rasmus Højlund. I see Victor Lindelof, Christian Eriksen, Mason Mount, bench player, Andre Onana swelling as ever. Rafael Varane not starting again. I didn't get that. Antony is on the bench. Diogo Dalot is starting on the left. Wan-Bissaka is there, is the starter. Alejandro Garnacho, it's in his head, you can see it. Marcus Rashford as well. So of course, Bruno the captain is the one who comes out first. Interesting scenes here to see as we do get into this one. So yeah, let me know what your prediction is. I've got one so far, a 2-1 prediction. What is your prediction? What do you expect to see? Are we leaving these ones beaten and battered in their own yard? Is it going to be an easy one, a walk in the park for Manchester United? What do you expect to see? Let me know. Give me your opinion as I do show you the confirmed starting 11 one more time. Let me show it to you in a graphic from Manchester United itself, so that you read for yourself in case you don't hear me properly. There you go. So that's our starting 11 right there. I love the choice of image this time. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he has not been enjoying this for long because of the injury. But there you go. Andre Onana, Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Rasmus Højlund, Christian Eriksen, Alejandro Garnacho, Diogo Dalot, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Johnny Evans, and Scott McTominay. On the bench, Alter Bayindil, Tom Heaton, Victor Lindelof, Sergio Reguilon, Rafael Varane, Sofian Amrabat, Foson, Hannibal Mejbri, Mason Mount, Facundo Pellistri, Anthony Dos Santos, and Anthony Martial. Wow, it looks like a decent bench by name. By performance, I'm not sure. But the bench looks decent, really. There is some bit of depth on that in that bench. This should be a squad that should comfortably dispose of a team like Copenhagen, really. I think we beat them in all departments, player per player. We have a strong squad. The whole unit has just failed to jail. I think we have strong players. And clearly, when all of them are fit, we can do a lot better than what we are doing lately. But we need to concentrate on the ones we have. But anyhow, we have got exactly 1 hour to kick off. I've got to just take a rest a bit, get ready to enjoy the game. It's been an awesome time, an awesome couple of minutes with you talking about this game, building up to this one. Thank you so much for those of you who have been on. Kenny Katuramu, my brother KK, thank you so much. Abbas Adams, my brother. It's 0-3 for United. He predicts Elton Jack. Caucus, I see you. Welcome. If we try to do well, I'm seeing a 2-all draw game. Both teams to score. That's an interesting one. Interesting prediction from Elton Jack. Caucus. Abbas Adams has given us the most confident prediction, a 3-0 win. That it takes a certain level of boldness for you to predict Man United winning by 3-0 lately. It takes a certain level of confidence, surely. And I'll credit anyone who, for that. But yeah, give me your opinion as well, and let me know maybe who will score the goals. I feel like Rasmus Højlund is going to score. I feel like the gods of football are going to do it. He will score and he won't celebrate. All that usual, funny score against your team, first meeting against them, don't celebrate, and blah, blah, blah. It's interesting. It's good for the archives and all. But I would want to see Rasmus Højlund celebrating a goal he scores, to be honest. Odonkara Kenneth saying Rasmus and McTominay will score the goals. Well, I love to see that people now trust McTominay to be scoring goals. Abbas Adams says 2 goals for Højlund and 1 for Rashford. Interesting. Wouldn't that be the dream duo to score for United? Because those are the guys we expect to score the goals for us, really. That would be an interesting one. Thank you, Abbas, there for that prediction. Marcus Rashford will be scoring and 2 for Rasmus Højlund. That would make it 5. That would be interesting to see. But I honestly think I honestly think that he will score. I honestly think it's going to be a possible an easy game. We just need to be calm, no pressure. I feel like the Fulham victory gave us confidence. I think fans are a bit calm now. They are still, waiting. There's a lot still confusing us, that fans will not be so bitter now, that the players should know it and play calmly. For as long as our players are calm, I think we can play a good game against FC Copenhagen. I don't expect them to be so confident. They will be playing for their pride, perhaps trying to defend. I don't think they will have the confidence to just come at us and kill us. So let it be like a game of chess. It's okay. It might be boring then, but it's okay for me. I don't care United giving us a boring game, but if we are seeing some bit of improvement in certain things, in patterns and all, I'm not here to see excitement. There is nothing really that would excite me about this team more than seeing it improve in how we play, how we pass the ball, how we build up, how we perform, how we try to make things happen. So let's wait and see. You've got less than an hour now. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this live. I will be back again. But for now, guys, if you haven't subscribed, guys, what is it, guys? Subscribe, share on, as we do keep growing this Manchester United community. It's always a pleasure and honor being here to talk to you. It's always good talking Manchester United. It's always good knowing United is playing in midweek. There are long nights because the following nights will always be early mornings for us, but who cares? That's why we love football. Let games excite us, and that's why it is the Champions League. Welcome to the hotspot. In case you're new, thank you so much. One more time, I will give you the squad one more time. That is it right there. That's the starting squad for Manchester United. Onana, Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Rasmus Højlund, Christian Eriksen, Alejandro Garnacho, Diogo Dalot, Wan-Bissaka, Evans, and Scott McTominay. There is depth in every department of the people on the bench. You love to see it. But what can they really give us? That's the table. That's how it is. Manchester United is third on the pile with 3 points. Copenhagen is fourth with a point. Galatasaray with 4 points. And Bayern with 9 points are the two teams ahead of us. But for now, we focus on the one below us and see what exactly we are going to do with them. Subscribe to the hotspot, guys. Enjoy the game. I will be seeing you with the post-match reaction, guys. Look out for it. After the game, you want to listen to my match reaction to see how we performed and whether there is really progress in what we are doing, or are we just wasting time? Are these guys only wasting time and there is nothing they're improving? We'll get into all that talk when I do return after full time. Enjoy the game. One love. Subscribe, guys. Thank you so much.